Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Happy Monday. Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to everyone. I hope you had a great weekend. It's Monday, November 8th, and we are back. This is the second week we're doing the Songs of Psalm, a songwriting journey with for us, for songwriters, where we're looking at the Psalms, and we are looking to be able to learn some deeper questions, some deeper thought processes on how to write a song. Not just how to write a song, but how to use expression, how to use your everyday life situation and incorporate that into a song. Why do we write music? What's the reason of writing music? And so the book of Psalms has such a great wealth of information. And so yeah, we're looking at it every single day for the month of November. We're taking a different psalm that was written, and we're going to go into it and see if we can relate to it, see if we can explore. Good morning, my sister. Good morning, my dear Abby. Thank you for joining me. I hope, girl, that you had a great weekend. Let me know. Did you have a good weekend this weekend? It was beautiful weather, wasn't it? It was just so awesome. It was perfect fall weather. Right outside my window, I wish I can turn the camera around. I wish you could see how beautiful the sun looks on the leaves. The leaves are just glorious this morning. They are just shining like gold and red. And it's just absolutely beautiful. So we just thank God. We are grateful to God for a brand new day. Okay, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to get into it because I start babbling and then we are, 30, 45 minutes away and I didn't get to my point. So today I am going to be looking at Psalm number 9. So again, this is Songs of Psalms, some of the songs that were written in the book of Psalm. And today we're going to explore one that is interesting. And I'm just started off with the subtitle. Oh, good, Abby. I'm so happy you had a great weekend. Such a nice time of year. I love the weather this time of year. I love how it looks outside. And so, yeah. Okay. All right, here we go. Psalm number 9. Again, here's a subtitle. For the director of music to the tune of the death of the Son, a Psalm of David. So here we go again. We have another Psalm of David. All of the ones that we've looked at since last week have all been Psalms that were written by King David. And so he says, I will give thanks to you, Lord, with all my heart. I will tell of all your wonderful deeds. I will be glad and rejoice in you. I will sing the praises of your name, O Most High. So again, he is saying, I will give thanks to you, Lord, with all my heart. I will tell of all your wonderful deeds. And the amplified version of this particular verse here, with all my heart, it means with a whole heart. And it's saying, I will show forth and recount and tell aloud your marvelous works and deeds. So David begins this particular song, this particular prayer, with a public act of giving thanks, right? And it's important, it's important to give thanks. It's important to be able to have gratitude in your heart, because the opposite of gratitude is being ungrateful. not seeing the beauty in the world, not seeing the good things that are happening around you. Like I just said, outside of my windows, I see beautiful leaves in golden color with touches of red. I see just, the falls, the leaves falling off the tree, and it just looks so amazing. And it makes me grateful and thankful to be alive. It makes me grateful to be alive. It makes me grateful to know that I have lived another day to be in this world, experiencing the beauty of this world, and not allowing whatever happened yesterday, all of the negativity of yesterday, all of the things that weren't so pleasant yesterday, not bringing it into today. So starting off with gratitude, singing about what you're seeing, singing about what you're doing is incredible. And just to see from David's point of view, there was a lot going wrong in his life. He was surrounded by people that didn't like him, that were trying to get rid of him, that were trying to oppose him and create trouble around him. So there's a lot of that happening. And some of the Psalms that we read last week talked about that. We went into what people were doing and how did he respond. So in this particular version, in this particular psalm, instead of him going and saying, "Oh God, listen to my prayer. Well, where are you? You haven't listened to me." He wasn't singing that. This particular one, he started off with thanks. He was giving thanks to God. And why? He says, "I will tell of all your wonderful deeds. I will sing the praises." So he was going to use gratitude and make it public, let everybody know, right? And he was doing this with all of his heart. And what does it mean to do something with all of your heart? It just, it's not like you're doing it halfway, right? You're not doing it like, "Oh, thank you, God," or whatever. Like he was very, very expressive. And he was thankful because he wanted people to see and know that God was doing things in his life. And so when you have good news like that, you want to share it, right? You don't want to just keep it to yourself. You don't want to just move on and not tell people what's happening, right? When you have something good to share, whether it's a promotion, whether someone does something for you, whether you find money, the first thing you want to do is you want to tell everybody about it. And that was what David was saying here, right? That's what he was saying. So he was going extra above and beyond, and he wanted to put that in a song, right? He was going to show forth and tell aloud the wonderful things that God was doing. And, sometimes when we have great things happening in our lives, or there's like a little victory that we have, we go and we tell the most closest people to us. Because why? Because we want them to be happy with us. We want them to rejoice with us. We want them to celebrate with us. And so that's why it's important to start with gratitude, right? Because gratitude and joy is contagious. So on this Monday of November 8th, I want you to spend your day thinking about all the good things that maybe happened to you this weekend, and go ahead and tell somebody. Go ahead and share the news, because maybe your encouragement, maybe your joy will make a difference in somebody's life today. Okay, we want people's lives to be touched by the good things that are happening in our lives. And there are going to be people that maybe don't want to hear your good news. And it's okay. You'll know not to talk to those people, and not to let their misery corrupt your joy. Right? Don't let them stop you from sharing your good news. Don't let them stop you from sharing your good news. You go ahead and you use today, and you walk today with purpose. Begin your day with an attitude of gratitude. An attitude of gratitude. Begin your day with that, and then you move on and you help people just be excited along with you. Celebrate, celebrate, and let people celebrate with you. Now, the ones that don't want to celebrate, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay that they don't want to celebrate with you. You move on from that. So, yeah, so he's saying, I will be glad and rejoice in you. I will sing the praises of your name. And for that, I just want to share real quickly, for those of us that sing and have songs of joy, songs of celebration to sing, I've worked with a lot of singers over the years, and I've seen a lot of singers over the years. And there's been times in my day where a singer will be singing a happy song, an upbeat, up-tempo song, but they show no excitement, like no joy, no emotion. They're just out there, just singing the song, maybe sounding great, sounding amazing. But how amazing can it be if you can't, you have no emotion, no expression, no joy? So we want to encourage people today. I feel like this is what the direction that we need to go in for this moment is to whatever joy you have, whatever good you have, give it away. Okay, we want to give away the good, give away joy. If you find, and if you're singing an up-tempo song but you don't have joy, then please don't sing the song. Please don't sing it. Please do not sing. Please do not stand up there and just be like, because if you're not connected to the song, guess what? Nobody's going to be connected to you or the song. And, you're just doing an injustice right there. That's the bottom line. You're doing an injustice to the song. We want singers to connect with the lyric and to give an emotional reaction, to give a physical reaction. It makes me think of the song like Party in the USA, right? Where she's saying, I put my hands up, they're playing my song, the butterflies fly away, I'm nodding my head like, yeah, I'm moving my hips like, yeah, I put my hands up, they're playing my song, they know I'm going to be okay. Yes, Party in the USA. So if you're doing that, you're not going to be like, you got to do something. You got to do something with your body, with your face, with all of that. So that was just a little vocal singing 101. So spread joy. Spread joy. Spread joy. That's what I'm going to say. And if you don't have joy in your life, find a way to access it. Use music, use lyrics, use your favorite song to replenish you and give you what you need in your life for that moment, for that particular moment. So yeah. So do me that favor, singers. Please, please, please. For those of us that love to listen to good music, if you're going to sing a song, go all out. Go all out. Don't hold back. Don't hold your emotions back. And if you don't have that thing, then don't sing that kind of song. That's not the song for you. Let somebody else sing a song, that they can connect with. Same thing if you're not going through a deep personal problem and you're singing a song that is sad and that is, reflective, don't sing that song if you're not going to connect to it. Because it just, like I said, it just is an injustice to the song. Anyway, I'm going to move from that. Every song deserves an emotional response, whether it's a happy one, a joyful one, a celebratory one, or whether it's something that is, not so happy, not so good, not, it's sad. And every song deserves an emotional response. Okay? So let me move on. So in verse 3, this is why David was singing. This is why he was celebrating God. He said, my enemies turn back. They stumble and perish before you. For you have upheld my right. You have upheld my right and my cause, sitting enthroned as the glorious judge. You have rebuked the nations and destroyed the wicked. You have blotted out their name forever and ever. Endless ruin has overtaken my enemies. You have uprooted their cities. Even the memory of them has perished. So David was happy and he was singing about it. Why? Because he said that my enemies turn back, they stumble and they perish before you. He was singing about what was going on with his enemies, their plans to destroy him, their plans to bring him down, their plans to get him removed out of his office, their plans to make his life miserable were failing. And he was God about that. And so he wrote a song about it. And so, yeah, sometimes if you're looking for material to write a song, see what's happening in your life, because that's what is going to help you communicate the things that are important, the things that are happening that are maybe also happening to somebody else, and you're connected with it. You're able to bring a different perspective, and you can be a testimony of what God did in your life. So his enemies' plans fell right before his eyes, and because of that, he was able to sing about it. He was able to see that God was working in his life. God defended him and protected him. So he was thankful, right? He was thankful that he was witnessing that the strategy of his enemies weren't successful. He saw that God wasn't allowing them to succeed, and so he began to sing about it. So that's pretty awesome. But I want to share, when I read this over, I began to think about a time in my life many years ago when I first started out as a worship leader. And I came across this person who came into our church, and they were trying so hard to push me out. They were trying so hard to make me look bad. I had just become a worship leader, so I was brand new. I didn't have any experience on how to lead a team, how to lead an entire church service. I was basically thrown into the role of a worship leader. And for those of you that don't know what a worship leader is, that's, in our church setting, we have the beginning part of the service is music, and we're singing songs. We're singing songs about God. We're singing songs to God. And so it's a way to just allow the music to help people connect to God before, the rest of the service goes on, where they're, hearing, they're being taught things from the Bible, etc., etc. So I had never done that before. I was never a worship leader. I had sung in church. I had sung with people. I had sung in a choir, but I had never taken a leadership role. And so, I just stepped into it. And at that time, there wasn't any training videos the way there are now. Like now you can be on YouTube, and, there's people there that are teaching, like, how do you lead worship, and how do you pick songs, and how do you prepare, and how do you teach harmony parts, and all of these things, right? But I didn't have that. I didn't have that back then. YouTube wasn't really a thing. I don't think it was a thing when I started. Not that I'm that old, but it just wasn't a thing. And all I knew about leading worship was what I saw the prior worship leader do. And so I had only been in this church for like a year at that time. And so I only had 1 year's worth of experience, and it was from a spectator perspective. It wasn't from anything else. And so I had been there for a year, and all of a sudden something went down, and boom, I became the worship leader. I was just thrown into the role. So like I said, there was no training, no one I could ask, no one I can call up and say, how do I do this? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? But I tell you what, God gave me the grace to do it. God gave me the grace to do it. And my style was different than the person that was there before me. And I had to be okay leading songs and having a team to do songs that was based in my personality and in my style. And the church also had to learn to adapt to my style as well. So it was like a back and forth type of thing. And I think it was going okay. You know, I didn't get kicked off of it like right away or at all. You know, so it was like a learning period for all of us. And so, you know, I started to get a little bit used to it. I started to get accommodating and, you know, building a song catalog there. And things were going okay. Things were going okay. I was still learning. I was still new. But out of nowhere, this person joined our church and they started coming regularly. And they came from a different church. And when they met me, they started telling me how they led many choirs over the years. And basically, they were bragging and they were like, oh, I did this, I did that, and then this is how I did it, and blah, blah, blah. And they were making me feel like they can do it better than me, you know, and that they should be doing the role. So, like I said, I was thrown into this. It wasn't like I raised my hand and said, can I be the worship leader? Because no, I was the last person to want to do that. I liked being, you know, in the audience. I liked hearing the songs and just connecting to the songs and whatever. I liked that. I preferred that. But here I was put into this position without any qualifications. I wasn't the best singer in the room. I wasn't an incredible singer. I just hadn't really done singing. But there was a call on my life. This is what I didn't understand at that moment when this person came into our church ministry. There was a call on my life to help people encounter God through music. And so God saw fit that I could do that part, that I could do that job. And even though I didn't understand that at the time, my pastor saw it. And so he was the one that placed me in the position, like I said, without any qualifications, without any further experience. But this person came along and tried to make me feel intimidated, right? They obviously knew more than me and was experienced, or so they say, you know, so they say. And they even dressed very pastoral, like, you know, with the whole collar thing going on, the clergy collar and the gown, very traditional, like trying to show the world, become this walking billboard of I'm a minister and, you know, this is what I do. So that was who they were, right? And so I didn't have the credentials. And this person would come to me every Sunday and would tell me what I should be doing. And it was like they would try to make me feel good, but at the same time they were like, you know, suck down my dreams, right? Like just pop the bubble. And in a way, because I was new, I felt that I should listen to them. I was much younger than them. And again, I didn't have the experience, so I felt like I needed to listen to them. And I have to say though, I did feel a little bit intimidated, or a lot intimidated by them, by their presence, because they were very out there and very like prominent. And you know, you have those people that do that. You have those people that do that. And my thing is, I'm not there to try to impress anybody. I am what I am. You take it or you leave it. Okay? And so, you know, but they were just putting themselves out there like, I'm this great thing. I know what I'm doing. I can do this way better than this child. You know, like that was the aura of this person. And for like a moment in time, I came very close to saying, you know, I'm not called to this. Maybe let them do it. Maybe let them be the one to go ahead and take over. let them be the one to lead the choir or lead the team, because I just didn't feel like I could do it better than them, right? I didn't have the experience they had. And so I almost gave them the liberty to, just be like, go to the pastor and say, you know what, why don't you let them do it? It was, I almost did that. I almost did that because I was so new and I felt intimidated and I didn't know who I was as a person, as a worship leader. I didn't understand the role, or I didn't understand it from God's view. I almost let them undermine my leadership calling. And sometimes that happens. You come across people who make you feel like you're less than. But it's not because you are less than, it's because they are less than, right? They're so insecure that they feel that they have to take something that somebody else has. They feel that they have to take what they have because they can't get that on their own. And that's what was happening to the people in that David was surrounded by. He was a king, he was a leader, but there were people that wanted power and influence so much that they tried to take him out. They wanted to take them out. And so going back to me, I was naive, right? And I didn't have a real understanding of what was going on, that I was called to this, that God appointed me to this. And if he wanted this person here, he would have moved me out and let them take over. Or if he was definitely called to this, then why wasn't he doing it where he came from, right? So I didn't see it at that time like that. But for a moment, I almost let them push me out the door. I almost let them push me out the door. And, I was just waiting for the day when the pastor would call me and say, you know what, Maria, I'm going to just let so-and-so be in charge. Okay. Thank you for your services. Goodbye. Like, I was waiting for that. But at the same time, I said, until that happens, I'm going to just do this with all my heart. Just like David said, I will sing to you with all my heart. And so as the time went by, I started to see red flags in this person. And, I wasn't sure if I was just being judgmental or critical, because I understood that, like, he was trying to take my role. But I didn't trust my gut enough, because I was still kind of new. I was younger. I didn't, this person was much more older than me. And so I wasn't sure, but I did see some red flags, so I was trying to be friendly, not confrontational about their tactics. And they were being very bold, very obvious about their intention to take the role of the worship leader. And, I was like, again, I was saying, I almost let them do that. I almost let them take on the role. And maybe that was what they wanted to do, right? They wanted to stand up there and be in the spotlight. Now, me, I didn't want to be in the spotlight. I didn't want the spotlight. And God always tries to push me in the front. Like, I'm still sometimes hesitant to be in the spotlight, and God will always try to push me to the front. So at that time, I was just like, okay, I'll just do this until they call me off the stage and have me not do this anymore. It almost felt like surrender. It almost felt like surrender, like I should just surrender and say, let them do it, and let me just step off and move on. And it's easier not to fight, right? It's easier not to fight. It's easier to surrender. And let me tell you, if you're listening to this, don't ever surrender. If you know you're supposed to do something, if you know you are called to something, please don't surrender. Please don't. So, what happened? I was in the role, and I decided that I would just keep doing this until they told me, okay, you're not called to it. And if I wasn't called to it, it was gonna be no big deal. Like I said, it was easier for me to sit in the audience and be a receiver of music. And so But God was on my side. God, the Father, was on my side, and He was looking out for me. And so He's always given me dreams. When He needs to get something to my attention, when He needs me to pay attention to something, He is going to give me a dream. And so I had a dream. I had a dream that I was with the worship team, and we were getting ready to start a service, and we were in our room that we would be in, and we were standing in a little circle like we did, and I was praying in the circle. I was praying. We were about to start the service, and I remember in this dream that I felt this tall, dark presence is the best way I can describe it. It wasn't really a person. It was like this tall, all black, like not in skin color. It was a presence. It was like a shadow. I felt like this tall, dark presence, like a shadow, stand behind me. And we were in a circle praying. And as we were praying, I felt a hand come over my head and put it over me like this. Hopefully you can hear me, right? They put it over me, over my mouth, over my nose, and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe. And it was like they put it really, really tightly around me, and I couldn't get their hand off of me, and I woke up. And immediately I knew that this dream was about this person. I just knew. God showed me in this dream that this person was trying to silence me from worshiping. He was trying to silence worship from happening in our church. And so after that, I knew I had to man up and not be intimidated or not be deceived by this person. Whatever advice that they would come and give me every Sunday, was not coming from a place of good intentions. They were essentially looking to destroy me and to destroy the calling on my life. They were looking to destroy what was happening in our midst, because everything was changing. Everything was changing. We had just transitioned from a very long-term way of doing worship. And here I was, this brand new beginner, didn't know what I was doing, leading our church into a whole new dimension of worship when I didn't even know what I was doing. I mean, truth be told, I didn't know what I was doing. And so, anyway, I also knew that in my dream, it wasn't really the person that was the one that was trying to suffocate me, because that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to suffocate me. He was just kill me off. That it was a spirit. I saw a spirit that I didn't physically see in the dream, the spirit, but I felt it. I felt the presence of this black shadow, like dark shadow. And that was over me. And so this person I saw, and I understood that this person was being influenced by a spirit of deception, a spirit of trying to take over. And Satan is the one that is the author of evil and wickedness. And so this person was being influenced by Satan, because God hates Satan, doesn't want God to be worshipped. So I stayed cordial, but I knew now at this point that they weren't trustworthy. I kept my distance, and I knew that I just needed to stay doing what I was doing. God had already was kind enough to show me really what was happening. I didn't go and tell the pastor about my dream, because I didn't want him to feel like I felt threatened by this person's presence. You know, I knew that God would defend me and protect me and all of that. And I wanted to allow God to just handle the situation the way David here talks about letting God handle the situation. It wasn't my job to do anything about it. I knew that I had to trust the Lord for deliverance and for protection. So then, you know, I kind of, I guess, understood that I was the one that was called there to be the worship leader. And it didn't matter that this person came with all of these accolades and this impressive resume. You know, it didn't matter. God looks at the heart. He looks at the heart. I didn't have an impressive resume. I wasn't musically impressive, but God, chose me to do that, to be there, to have that position. I didn't have to go around dressed in clergy attire to let the world know that I was a minister of music or whatever, right? I don't roll like that. But anyway, I wasn't going to be retaliatory to this person or going to gossip about them to everybody and say, guess what? I had this dream that da da da, and I think this guy was the person in my dream, whatever. The only person I told about the dream was my husband, because he's a great judge of character. He already saw it. He saw what the person was doing to me behind the scenes. And so let me just tell you. Let me tell you. You want to know? Y'all want to know how the Lord handled the situation? Over time, this person, they were just showing their true colors, who they were. I did my best to remain humble and quiet, and I knew that the Lord answers the prayers of his children, the righteous. And so I saw the hand of God, not just myself, but those people that came into contact saw the hand of God for this person, because people were seeing, this person for what they really were. And so at the time, the pastor wasn't seeing it because he wouldn't show his colors, his true colors, to the pastor. And so the pastor was going away for a weekend, and so he asked this person to step up and preach that weekend. He entrusted him to care for the sheep. But this person, let me tell you something, this person was a wolf in sheep's clothing, right? Some of us were seeing it. The pastor had not yet seen it. But this guy, this person, was a wolf in sheep's clothing. So it came to the day where he began to speak, right? To teach, to preach. And it was just something that I want to forget, but at the same time I cannot forget. This person, after a few minutes of preaching, began to say all of these terrible things about the pastor and undermining his leadership. And they were trying to make themselves look good and great and big and pastoral in front of the congregation, yet they were blatantly putting the pastor down. And it was making it very obvious that they were also trying to take the pastor's job. They were saying all of these bad things, saying lies, and the congregation was there to absorb this. And if you weren't mature enough to know, then you would believe this person. And I believe that they were just saying all of these things so that they could stir up a group of people to say, we want you to be the pastor. We want you to take on the role. And so it was just crazy. The guy was just saying lots and lots of things, right? And going after the pastor's role. So now I was like, he ain't just trying to go after my role. He's also trying to go after the pastor's role. Crazy, right? It's crazy. So after a while, I can't remember, maybe it was 30 minutes of being shockingly disrespectful and inciting fear, because people started to feel fear. I remember my heart was beating so fast listening to this man. I felt fear. I felt threatened. I felt so many bad things. That's how you know. That's how you know that a person is not from God, because God gives off good things. And that, like I said in the very beginning of this, God whatever good that you have, that you get from God, you give that out. But this person had a lot of bad stuff in their life, and they were just giving that out. And so he was talking and saying all of these disrespectful things and inciting fear in all of us. And after a few moments, literally, I don't even know how long, it could have been 30 minutes that they went on and on and on, their voice started to go out. Listen to me. Their voice started to go out, just like I'm talking to you right now. You know how sometimes in the morning, and I've done this here before, where I'm talking and I didn't properly warm up, and so my voice is still a little, filled with stuff, and I have to clear my throat. It wasn't even like that. It was like their voice literally was shutting down on them. And at one point, the voice went completely out. He went from having a very preachy voice, like those kind of preachers that preach very preachy. I don't know how to best describe it, because I don't want to offend anybody if that's how you like to preach. But he had a very preachy voice, and all of a sudden, it was like going down, 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 down. Like you couldn't hear it. It was so much happening, and it ended up becoming like a high-pitched whisper. A whisper, like he couldn't say anymore. And he's like, somebody's doing witchcraft on me in here. And I'm like, hello. We didn't know, this is the people of God. There ain't nobody doing witchcraft on you. That God is shutting your mouth. That's what's going on. God is shutting your mouth. He had to come off the altar. He had to stop speaking altogether because he couldn't talk anymore. And that was the mercy of God. God could have done whatever, shut him down for good. And we saw God do a miracle. We literally witnessed a miracle. We witnessed the Lord defend his leader, his servant, from a malicious predator that sought to take the position, that sought to take something that wasn't theirs. This congregation wasn't theirs. My role to lead worship wasn't theirs. And God just shut him down, like shut his mouth up. He couldn't speak, just could not speak. And I believe that was the last time I saw that person. I don't remember ever seeing them again. That night they preached again, and then that night service, they talked about Satan the whole time. Talked about Satan. He was comfortable talking about Satan, but he wasn't comfortable talking about God, because he had no relationship with God. He had no calling from God. And so I remember he spoke that night, and after that, I never saw the person again, or I don't believe I saw them again. And but I do feel bad if that person went to a different church that they targeted, because see, we were a church that was a praying church, and for a brief moment maybe we were a little bit deceived by their grandiose conversation about themselves, but eventually their true colors came out, and God removed them. We didn't have to do anything. We didn't have to put our lives in danger. Like, God removed this person. But not every church or ministry has the wisdom or the discernment to allow God to handle a situation. But God does protect his people, his sheep, from wolves that come in sheep's clothing. They're truly not seeking God, but they're seeking a position for themselves. They're very self-motivated. And we thank God that he exposed the truth of this person in a very blatant way. Now, had I done anything beforehand to say to people, then I don't know, like, it wouldn't have been right. But because I kept myself free from, allowing myself to speak negative about this person and to stir any kind of contention from my words, the Lord handled that situation. I just stayed focused with what I needed to do. And, you know, 20 years later, I'm still here. I'm still leading worship. I'm blessed to be in a wonderful congregation, a wonderful church with a wonderful and anointed leadership, anointed pastor. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful that God has watched over and has helped me from making a lot of mistakes, or has covered me even in the mistakes I've made. Many mistakes I've made, He still has covered me. And then I'm still doing what He's called me to do, what the Father has called me to do. So I'm going to wrap this up. Let me take it back down to the book of Psalms. So verse 15, it says, the nations have fallen into the pit they have dug. Their feet are caught in the net they have hidden. I'm going to say that again. And nations refers to the different people, right? Different kinds of people that are all alike. They're all similar. That they have fallen into the pit they have dug. That's what happened to this person. They fell in the pit they dug. Their feet were caught in the net that they hid. They hid a net. They were trying to take over. They were trying to capture, say, me. It started with me, right? But they were really just going after the grand prize, which was the pastoral role. You know, they were trying to capture me, and then they were trying to capture the pastor. And, but what happened? They fell in this very pit that they dug. And then it says, the Lord is known by his acts of justice. The wicked are ensnared by the work of their hands. I'm going to read that again. The Lord is known by his acts of justice. The wicked are ensnared by the work of their hands. The Lord is known by his acts of justice. That's what he did. He helped us. And we were able to praise him and thank him and give him just all of our appreciation, because he delivered us from this person that was wicked. The wicked are ensnared by the work of their hands. And that's what happened to this person. And so David wrote in verse 19, arise, Lord, do not let mortals triumph. Let the nations be judged in your presence. Strike them with terror, Lord. Let the nations know they are only mortal. And that is exactly what happened. This person did not triumph in that situation. David was saying to God, you know, let the nations, let these people that are like this be judged in your presence. Strike them with terror. And that's what happened to this man. This man didn't know what was going on. He literally was like, somebody's doing witchcraft on me. You know, he thought somebody was like doing, and it wasn't anybody in the room. We had no power to do anything. It happened naturally. He lost his voice naturally because God shut him down. God will take care of your enemies. Just gonna let you know, the Lord will take care of your enemies. He will handle them. You just have to sit back, allow the Lord to give you the patience and the endurance and the the strength to just endure and tolerate that for that moment. I don't know. I can't remember how long this person was around, but it wasn't long. It wasn't long. It wasn't long. They weren't around that long because the Lord was not going to tolerate that. He was not going to allow this person to destroy what he was building up. And he defends his people. So I'm just going to let you know, the next time you encounter someone that is trying to do you wrong, trying to undermine you, trying to take away what belongs to you, they're out for no good. Please allow the Lord to handle it. Don't handle it yourself. Don't retaliate. Don't, you can talk to people, but don't go out and talk about them maliciously, because what happens is you reap what you sow. You don't want it to come back to you. Allow the Lord to handle it, and he will demonstrate a miracle before you, just like we witnessed a miracle before us. The Lord will demonstrate a miracle before you. Okay, so that was it. That is verse Psalm 9. It has 20 verses. I didn't touch on all of them, but I touched on the most important ones, because David wrote about the evil people that were dealing with him, that he had to deal with. And so as a songwriter, also let us take our experiences and put them in a song, because they can teach somebody else. We are writing the new songs. We are writing the new songs. So I hope and I hope that you can take something from it. I hope this was encouraging. I hope that you are just strengthened to know that anything that you face, the Lord can help you with it. The Lord is involved. He's very, very present. It says that He is present in times of trouble. He is present. Know that He is present. Okay? So, that's it. That's all I have. In my description, I have a link that you can go to my website for a guide, prayers for my family. If you are having trouble with your family, or if you want to just pray prayers of blessing over your family, just go into my website, www.secondgenmusic.com, and get yourself, put your email, and then you get a copy of the prayer guide. So you can use it every single day and speak words of life over your family. All right, I'll send that copy over to you, and I hope you have a great day. Join me tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow with another wonderful psalm to discuss. All right, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I pray blessing over you. Make it a wonderful and great day. Take care, everybody.